Okay, let's get through rapidly. So the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will give you a brief overview of the program. Let's go through it. So basically, I will first insert a few generalities about the program, then FET Open and FET Innovation Launchpad. Then in the second block, I will speak to you about proactive and the FET high performance computing, and a few words about the coming events and the resources we have you can access. And you will get anyway the slides after the presentation, so you can click on the links on the presentation to get access to more information. So first, the generalities. So today it's about the first pillar, the excellent science pillar, and future emerging technologies is located in this first pillar with an overall budget of 2.7 billion euros over the 7 years of H2020. FET actually tries to cover the full range from open, light, and agile programs on the left side of these slides, which are, let's say, relatively small projects, to the other extreme on the right side of the slide, which is the roadmap-based research, which are very heavy research in terms of budget and in terms of number of collaborators. The FET unit subdivides this spectrum in 3 areas. So on the right side, on the big hand side of the roadmap-based research, the FET flagships, which is addressing grand challenges, and we have currently 2 big ones, the graphene flagship and the human brain project. I won't discuss nothing about that today. I will concentrate on the other 2. So on the other extreme, on the left side, you find the FET Open, which are exploring their novel ideas, really new ideas which have never been addressed before. And in between, the Commission has the so-called FET Proactive, where there are some areas are identified by the Commission, and there the goal is to explore these areas which might come out to turn out to be very important in the coming years. So again, FET Open is for early stage science and technology, looking for radically new ideas toward future technologies. And the word technology here is very important. The second one is FET Proactive. So there the areas have been identified, and the goal is to get critical mass of knowledge and excellence in Europe around these areas. And the flagships are large scale project with transformational impacts in the society. So let's go now to the first part, FET Open and the FET Launchpad. So as I said, FET Open is on the left side of the spectrum. Although you can come with any kind of idea, so these are collaborative projects where you have need a consortium of 3 people from 3 different member states or associated countries. And the thematic is completely up to you to define it. Still, the Commission defines so-called gatekeepers, which you really have to fit. Not any project could fit in this FET Open frame. And let's go quickly through it. The first is the long-term vision. So you can't come just with an idea and that's it. And you really have to have a kind of 10 to 15 years perspective with an original and radical long-term vision about what you want to achieve beyond your proposal itself. Then you have to bring also a breakthrough in terms of science and technology. So really have to be ambitious, but nonetheless very concrete in the breakthrough you want to achieve. You have to be foundational. That means you have to bring the basis for a new line of technology. So your idea will change the way we will think about process, we will do research, we will do technology tomorrow. And that has to be foundational. The novelty is very important, of course, novelty in the ideas or in the concepts. The Commission, of course, is willing to go for high risk. So again, be ambitious. The Commission knows that what they're going to fund is very risky, but they encourage you to be very ambitious. Nonetheless, but remain concrete and have a clear technological long-term goal. And interdisciplinary is also an important element in that. Since the experience shows that from interdisciplinary, very new and promising idea emerge out of these teams. In practice, so again, specific challenge for FET Open is early stage and high risk visionary collaborative projects. So again, you need at least three participants from three different countries, European countries or member state, European member state or associated countries, sorry. And the project size is typically up to 4 million euros with a typical duration 3 to 4 years. The submission is very slim, so the proposal is only 16 pages, so it's 1 page for the cover page and 15 pages for the proposal. And it's a one-step submission, so you submit and 5 months later you get an answer. There are for 2016 and 2017 3 deadlines. The next one will be in May next year, and the other deadlines are in 2017. Now, close to, in parallel to the FET Open, in this package FET Open, there is actually another one which is just the newcomer in this FET family, which is the FET Innovation Launchpad. There, the idea is the following. It could happen that within a FET project, you have a very one idea which pops up and which might have a big innovation potential, or in terms of service or in terms of product, but you are not sure yet if it could make it to the market. And the idea there is that the committee, so you hand on a proposal for this piece of idea you had out of a FET project, and you get 100,000 euro during 1.5 years to make further analysis of the market potential of this idea. Also there, it's a very slim proposal. It's 8 pages, one-step submission, and you should get the answer after 5 months. 2 deadlines are foreseen for the coming 2 years, one in September next year, and another deadline 1 year later. So that was it for FET Open and FET Launchpad. Let's now shortly talk about FET Proactive and the FET High Performance Computing. FET Proactive, as I said before, is in the middle between the very bottom up, so you come with the idea, and the big flagship. So in between, the Commission basically defines areas where they want to see research and technology happening in coming years, and it's up to you to come with a proposal. The idea again here is to set up a community in Europe around these thematics and to gather knowledge and skills to foster a broader innovation ecosystem in these areas. The projects are a bit bigger. These are 4 to 10 million euro projects and up to 5 years duration. Also there, it's a one-step submission, and the proposal is a bit larger, so 31 pages. There's only one call for 2016. There will be no call for 2017. So it's one call next year with a deadline on the 12th of April. And here are the areas which the Commission identified. So the first are 4 areas, each of them subdivided in sub-areas. So basically you submit to one of the sub-areas, the point A, B, C shown here. And I will go quickly through it. The first area is technology and society, where there are 2 subtopics: being human in a technological world. So here is how the impact of technology on humanity, new science for a globalized world, how will we do science tomorrow in the society of tomorrow, which change in terms of social media and so on. The second area is for biotechnology. There are 3 sub areas: intra and intercell bio-nanochemistry, as well as technologies, the bioelectronics, medicine and therapies, and the last one being cognitive neurotechnologies. The third area is for information technology, where they will be concentrated on new computing paradigm and their related technologies. The second one will be on quantum engineering, so devices that exploit quantum phenomena. And the third one is going to be hybrid optoelectromechanical devices at the nanoscale. And finally, the fourth area for this FET Proactive is going to be new technologies for energy and functional materials, with their two sub areas: ecosystem engineering, and complex bottom-up construction. So these are the FET proactive areas where you should apply. So in one of them, with the deadline in April next year. Now, parallel to the FET proactive areas I've shown you, historically, the European Commission has a big program on high-performance computing. And historically, the funding is located in research infrastructure and in FET, and these are the part of FET high-performance computing, which is going on now since the beginning of Horizon 2020. And for 2016 and 2017, we are slowly moving toward what is called a pre-exascale system. And for 2016, there will be only one topic which will be funded, which is the co-design of high-performance computing system and applications. And in 2017, we will see the first system which are to transition toward the exascale computing, as well as developing the high-performance computing ecosystem development. That's it for high-performance computing. Now, be aware that FET, in particular FET Open, it's a very competitive scheme. So basically, the success rate is about 2%. So it's a very crowded program, and please make sure that you do fit in the FET Open, so in the 6 gatekeepers I've shown you, or that you fit within the proactive thematic. Now that's it for the program. So it was a quick overview. Just a few tips about events. So the next big event that the Commission will be doing is on the 25th of January in Brussels. There is a one-day event where the Commission will present both FET Open and FET Proactive, as well as a networking session which will be organized. We don't have a link yet for the registration, but that should come in the coming weeks. If you can't attend the event in Brussels, that will be probably web streamed, so you can follow it up, and there will be probably also, you will have the possibility to ask questions online. So that's what they did in July, and so you can do it from your office. We will also be doing events about FET. So in 2 weeks from now, I will be in Geneva to present ICT and FET. And there will also be other events next year. We will be planning, so we are currently planning an applicant training somewhere end of January, beginning of February next year. There is already a bunch of information available on the web. I encourage you, for those of you submitting to FET Open, I encourage you to have a look at the event that took place on July 6th in Brussels, where the FET Open has been described. And there, of course, there is a web stream for which from the event on Lisbon ICT 2015, where also FET has been presented by the Commission. That's it. These are a bunch of links you will get after the webinar. So the follow-up mail, of course, our webpage, so euresearch.ch/FET has the links I've mentioned here, and the participant portal of the Commission, Twitter account, so where the FET unit is very active, and a few links on FET Open and on open access and data management. Of course, you can, as Julie said before, our regional offices are close to you and there to help you. So don't hesitate to ask them. And I am myself available for any of your questions. Thank you very much. Oh, there already, the first question I got is how many partners for FET Open Launchpad are required? So it's a very good question. I didn't go into the details. So actually, one partner is enough. So you can apply on your own for the FET Launchpad. So there is not this limitation of 3 partners, but one is enough. You can apply on your own. Make sure, by the way, that if you are applying for FET Launchpad based on an idea which belongs to another consortium, make sure that you have the rights to exploit their idea. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. And now I pass over. Okay. So there is a second question. Yes, so to submit a proposal for FET Open, you mentioned that it is required to have a minimum of 3 member states or associated countries. Then is it eligible for third country? Yes. So third country are eligible, of course, but they don't count in this minimum of 3 member state or associated country. But any third country can participate. Now they won't probably be funded. So make sure so that check the funding of this specific country, but most of them are not. So for example, if you want Canada on board, I don't think that most of them get funded, but there might be, I think, some exception in the case of Quebec or some special. There are always, there might be some specific configuration.